Hey, it's Paula here from Transform Today, and today we're going to be talking about manifestation. I've just got back from some work in St. Lucia, and yeah, a lot of my clients are telling me they're feeling stuck about stepping into the next level. And specifically, these guys have done loads of inner work. And it's about us really bringing soul and science together. And we're going to be talking about this in a way maybe you haven't heard, and really explore what it actually takes to shift your reality in a way that feels grounded, embodied, and just real, because manifestation, of course, isn't just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about understanding how your energy works, your identity, your nervous system, and your brain, and how they all work together and learning to master them. So today, I'm going to walk you through that. Because sometimes we just actually can't see into the next level. And I actually get this asked a lot about this. How do I get into embodiment? How do I actually embody this new version of me when I'm still experiencing the old outer circumstances? The bank balance hasn't changed, the partnership hasn't changed, the job hasn't changed. So it's like, how can you know in your mind this new version of you and take the actions that really start to get you on the new launch, on the new projects, on the new relationship? So what I want you to do is think about, okay, where am I feeling stuck? How am I feeling stuck? So today I'm going to walk you through that. How things actually come into physical reality, what it feels like when something is moving from a potential into form, and the real inner shift that allows that to happen, not just conceptually, but experientially. We've got to embody who we are becoming. And that means old parts of us that no longer serve where we're going and what we're doing will naturally need to be integrated or fade away. So, what I want to say to you before we dive in is I've got something really close to my heart I'm really excited about from the 4th to 6th of September here in the UK. I will be running a quantum soul alignment method. And this is where we go beyond understanding and into embodiment, where we work with your identity, your subconscious patterns, your nervous system, your energy, and we start aligning you to abundance so you can actually become the version of you who lives the reality you desire. And if you feel a pull to that, please trust it, because not only will you be doing that with me for 3 days in person and then 21 days online, but you will also be learning the method, like a business in a box, to take out to your clients. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and the details will be in the show notes below. Okay, so let's begin here, because this is the shift that changes everything. Most people have the order of creation completely flipped. We look at our external reality, our bank account, our business, our clients, our relationships, and we give it authority. We let it decide how we feel. We let it decide what we believe is possible. We let it decide who we think we are. And of course, this is tricky, but the one thing you're in control of as a divine fractal of the whole unified field is your state, and you can step into a higher state at any time. You can rock the unlimited version of you in this limited lifetime. And I really want you to get your head around that. I don't want you to just think, oh yeah, I can do that. No, I really am gonna do that. I can commit to that. I am committed. I believe it, and I'm stepping in. So your external reality is not the source. It's just the reflection, just the reflection. What if everything you are experiencing right now is simply an echo of the energy, the identity, and the patterns you've been embodying? And I want you to say this gently. This is not about blame. This is about power, you stepping into your power, breaking the habit of being you so you can step into the next version of yourself, as Joe Dispenza would say. Because if your energy helped you create what you're experiencing, then surely your energy can change it. Now let's bring in both soul and science. On a spiritual level, we talk about energy, frequency, alignment, consciousness, and on a scientific level, we can talk about neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself, and based on what you repeatedly think, feel, and focus on, every thought strengthens a pathway. Every emotional pattern becomes more familiar to your nervous system. And your brain has this incredible filter. We've talked about it before, but it's important to remember it. The Reticular Activating System, the RAS, its job is simple. It scans your environment and shows you evidence that matches what you already believe is important. When I was pregnant with twins, everyone was pregnant with twins. When my sister had leukemia, everyone seemed to have leukemia. It was crazy because that was at the forefront of my mind. And, it's like when you think, oh, I want to buy a white car, and then you see white cars everywhere. So it's a little bit like if I'm thinking stress, I'm feeling stress, and I'm putting that pharmacy of stress, I'm turning it on in the neurotransmitters in my body. So what if I'm thinking potential? What if I've got an open heart and I'm turning that pharmacy on? So let's just think about the RAS. Its job is simple. It scans your environment and it shows you evidence that matches what you already believe is important. So if your internal world is saying, oh my God, this is so hard, I'm not there yet. Oh, I've got lack, there's lack of this, there's lack of that, I'm struggling, then the RAS will literally filter reality to show you proof of that. Isn't that crazy? So what you think about definitely comes about. But when your internal state shifts, you start noticing different things, different opportunities, different ideas, different possibilities. You are now in a frequency, a brain wave that is expanded, so you can get more expanded downloads if you are working with brain and heart coherence and your electromagnetic field is expanding. You can literally start to change your life. So manifestation isn't just something mystical. It's what happens when your energy and your brain begin to align through repetition. And this is where that beautiful teaching comes in. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Buddha's said it, all the great teachers like Wayne Dyer, Louise Hay, all the sages say this. So it's not just little old Paula Pluck on here saying it. This is a truth. And this isn't just spiritual language. It's how our system is designed. So let's bring this into something real. So say you're a coach, and I've literally just been working with a coach, and she was currently making around 2,800 a month, which wasn't really enough for what she wanted to do. In fact, what she wanted to do, which was enough with a little bit of a cushion, was about 7,000 a month. So I said to her, well, let's work on how the energy of earning 8,000 a month would feel. And she was like, okay, because it's better to have more than enough. You don't want to just be getting by. You want to be able to feel safe in your nervous system and be open to receiving. And that's the important bit, being open to receiving. So, before we start doing more content, more offers, more strategy, and this is what she was doing. She was doing all of these things, but nothing was really shifting. She didn't seem to be able to get to that next place. And this is where most people push harder, they get into the hassle. But here's the truth: you can only take actions that are available to your current identity. So the first thing I said to her is, we'll call her Sarah. you know, you've come to me earning around 2.8 a month. And yeah, I know you're working hard. I know you're showing up. I know you're doing everything right. But underneath, you've got some patterns, and that's what we want to explore around your identity, the second guessing, the self doubt, the things that hold you back. And we looked at some of her thoughts and quiet little beliefs of who am I to charge more money? What if people don't buy? I need more proof first. I can't trust in this. But the important thing is that she was open and she'd seen this work with your energy work. So she didn't start with strategy, or we didn't. We started with her state, her energy, her identity, her nervous system. And through repetition, and that is the things, friends, I'm sorry to say it, I know I always bang on about it, but we have to meditate. The meditation is where we really get ourselves open up. We quiet the mind, we press pause on the mind and give ourselves a little holiday from the thoughts. We get more awareness, more clarity, and we get into more embodiment. So she started through her mindful awareness, started catching her old thoughts, and instead of letting them run on autopilot automatically, she began to choose new ones gently but consistently. And this is where the neuroplasticity comes in, because she wasn't just thinking differently once, she was repeating a new internal pattern. And we know our organism likes the familiar, it returns to what is safe, even if what is safe isn't the best thing for us. We've talked about these lottery winners who can't keep hold of the money, over 75% of them, because they don't feel safe in their nervous system for this level of wealth. But she continued until her brain and body recognized it as familiar. And this wasn't like forever. It was about 6 weeks, that we really started to see the difference. Her RAS began to filter differently. She noticed opportunities she hadn't seen before. She showed up differently on calls. She raised her prices and she stopped over explaining. And within 7 to 8 weeks, she had moved to her first £8,000 a month. Not because she forced it, but because she became someone different. And this is where the courage comes in. And honestly, friends, it really does take courage, because the real work is not just the positive thoughts, it's having the courage to step off autopilot, to pause, to observe yourself honestly, to look at the parts of you've been avoiding. And that's your fears, your patterns, your shadows. And I want to say this gently: your shadows aren't problems, your triggers are not inconveniences, they're really your friends. Because when you feel triggered, instead of, pushing it away, ask, okay, what's this showing me? What belief is underneath all of this? What part of me doesn't feel safe right now? Because every trigger is an opportunity to shift something at the root. And every time you meet it with awareness, you begin to rewire your system. And I want to bring this to life, because this is where the work becomes like really deeply human. I've got a client, we'll call her Patricia. So on the surface, she was doing all the right things. She had the vision, she had the desire to grow, to be visible, to step to the next level of herself. But every time she got close, something would pull her back and she'd feel a bit stuck. She'd hesitate, she'd shrink, she'd overthink. And when we explored it gently, we found something really important. There was a part of her, a younger part, that had experienced deep trauma in childhood. And that part had learned it's not safe to be seen, it's not safe to be fully expressed, it's not safe even to be fully alive. So when Patricia began stepping into her visibility, this part of her wasn't sabotaging her, it was protecting her. And this is so important to understand. These shadow parts are not here to block you, they're here to protect you based on what they have learned. So the work is not to force past them, it's not to override them, it's to meet them, to listen, to bring compassion, because until these parts feel safe, they will keep holding the brakes. So Patricia's shifts, well, she didn't shift because she forced confidence. She shifted because she sat with the parts of herself. She listened, she acknowledged, she let the part feel seen. And through that, the part didn't, sort of disappear. It integrated. And this is the truth of transformation. This part of her in fear was like 8.5, 9 years old. And it just needed to feel safe, have compassion. So when we become a new version of ourselves, there is part of the old identity that always falls away. So decisions we might have made, prior to 9 or whatever age it was, basically, we need to ask, is this true? And if it's not true no more, and it was 30 years later, Patricia was 39. So, it was important that we got to this tender, gentle, loving little space where this younger self could hear she's safe now. And no, she's not being rejected, but being integrated into love. And there is often a space in between that where you are no longer who you were, but you're not fully stabilized. And that's the important word in who you're becoming. It's a bit like the liminal space, and it can feel uncertain and uncomfortable, like you're in between worlds. And in this space, you are often living in what feels like an actor's if. But I can tell you that once we free up any stuck energy, that's where the movement comes in. And so it's just echoes and imprints of the past. And maybe there's some energy moving in, because our emotions record the sensations behind all of our thoughts. So we're not pretending, we're emptying out, as they'd say in Buddhism. We're emptying out and we're practicing the new version of ourselves, the new thoughts, the new behaviors, the new ways of being, before they actually feel natural. And again, we're back to neuroplasticity. You are creating new neural pathways through repetition. And the brilliant thing here is you're teaching your system, this is who I am. This is what I can receive. This is what I am able to receive. But you cannot bypass the shadow and stabilize in the new identity. You can't skip that step. You have to meet the parts of yourself and just bring that wonderful love that never leaves, that divine embrace, that you're connected. Your soul is connected to the unified field of oneness, what they're calling the quantum field. And there's so much proof out there. So it's important because of those parts. If you don't integrate them, they're going to keep pulling you back until they're seen and until they're heard, until they feel safe. So instead of seeing your triggers as setbacks, see them as guidance. They're showing you exactly what is ready to be seen, what's ready to be loved, what's ready to be integrated. And then you can let go of the resistance and you can allow your heart to be more open, and you can begin, to relate to yourself more softly, because everything is softening when we're in a space of unconditional acceptance, because you're no longer forcing change, you're not trying to muscle through, you're just allowing the transformation to happen. And that's in this present precious moment. That's the power of now. And as your energy shifts, something else begins to happen. Maybe you begin to lose resonance with people, habits, environments, even things you used to enjoy, because you're opening up to a different space. And instead of forcing yourself to stay the same, you just allow the change to gently unfold, because what's happening is you're creating space, and when you create space, something new can enter. So manifestation isn't about chasing, and it certainly isn't about forcing. It is always about becoming. It's about gently, consistently, courageously choosing alignment to abundant love, alignment to limitless love, alignment to abundant health, wealth, relationships. It's choosing that alignment. And you're already manifesting all the time. And that's the truth of it. That's the kicker. Every thought we have is manifesting. It's manifesting our state of being. So we want to be a state of being of sunshine. And that's what we're going to be attracting back. I'm not saying we have to be breathlessly positive all the time, but sometimes we have to take control of our state and say, actually, there's a deeper, more powerful me that's got this. And you know what's the great thing here is you don't even have to worry about what next steps to take, because the new version of you already knows how to do this. This new version is already in the field, able to take on more capacity to receive more love, wealth, help, happiness. So the question is, are you going to do it consciously? Are you going to make your thoughts conscious? Are you going to activate the RAS for opportunity, potential, miracles, wonder, awe, connection, joy, love, courage? Because when your energy shifts, your perception shifts, your action shifts, your reality shifts. So instead of focusing on what you don't have yet, bring your attention back to who you are becoming, because that is where everything begins. And if you feel called to go deeper with this work, it is really about embodying it. So, you can come and join me in September. You can have a look at the link. And, I do a 6-week course where I work with you on this one-to-one. And it could be really helpful. So if you're thinking, because this isn't just something you want to understand, it's something you want to really become. And that, my friends, is where everything changes. That's the wonderful bit. So what I'd like, to suggest is, get in touch if you are feeling stuck and I can help you anywhere. I would absolutely love to. But just for the moment, let's just take a moment to breathe into that beautiful lightness. Just breathing into the joy, the peace and the love of really who you are, so let's take a moment. Just letting go of any of those fears and judgments of being exposed, for maybe feeling not that good. And just let all of that go. Because we're just always just trying to figure out what's at the root. What part of us is afraid we mightn't be good enough. And we're just going to breathe gently into the heart. That beautiful space of acceptance, of knowing that all parts of you are welcome, that all parts of you are a call to love. Maybe you could call this part of you, to gently come out of the shadow. And you're in a meditative state. And you can ask them, why are you so afraid of the next level? And you just feel into that and let this part of you speak. Or maybe you can journal it out. But it's important to hear. And then you can go on to the reassurance. I want to let you know I see you, I'm with you, I'm here for you. I'm never going to leave you ever, ever again. I love you. I accept you. I understand you. I'm with you. I'm totally on your side. I am you. Just give them whatever reassurance they need to hear, to register that sense of safety and love. And you might begin to see what age they are when these thoughts came into existence. And just tell this beautiful, in Patricia's case, 8.5-year-old, you don't have to carry this anymore, my darling. You're not 8 anymore. You're not in this situation anymore. I'm going to look after you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to give you all of your strength. We're strong and we're very capable, and we can do this. And you are safe to let this go. And you can just notice this energy shifting and clearing in your body, in your system. And as you see the energy moving, and it's almost every time, that block, that place where you're stuck, that's stopping you from stepping into the next level, just frees up a bit more. And that space that's freeing up opens you to the next level in your game of life. That next version that can only come into fruition, that can only come into life. Is rested. Almost like just laying down an old version of you, your old identity. So this is how you do that. It's not even sacrificing like you're getting rid of course not. You're actually integrating. So you're taking something that was repressed and pushed into the shadow, and you're taking it out, processing, integrating, and just bringing love to this part of you so it stops controlling you subconsciously. And this is going, to be your next biggest thing. It's not the glamorous part of our growth, but this inner wealth, this inner work is freeing up the energy. And you've named the part, you've worked with it, you've released it, and now you can move on to the stuff of growth and creation, to the new self. So you need to be this new self to step into this new reality. So this is brilliant news. What it means is you don't have to keep worrying how you're going to do this. Like I said earlier, you don't need to worry about how you're going to execute the perfect you, going to launch some wonderful program, have to figure it all out. It's going to be the next level version of you that already knows how to do this. And this is the best bit. It's so much fun. And so the reason that you're being stuck now, that you've come through this trend, you've done the work. You can now reap the rewards. Just reap the rewards. You don't need to fumble in the dark. You actually need to get back into your body to feel the shift and the energy and see yourself through the lens of the reality that you are changing. And when your reality shifts, when you shift your identity, when you shift your frequency, you don't need to worry about how you need these circumstances to change. They will just automatically, because everything in physical reality you are experiencing, you are perceiving, is a byproduct of the energy you're embodying and that identity that you're standing in. Wow, in this new identity, you see things differently. And it's so wonderful. Things start to synchronize and automatically change around you. And so you can do what you love. You're going to define this version of yourself. Feel into her now. Visualize into that being now, your next level. Just experience yourself, everything feeling natural for you. Feeling what are your boundaries? What are your expectations? What are your values? How do you dress? How do you stand? How are you seen? And just really bring in all of these characteristics. Are you loyal? Are you kind? Are you courageous? Are you forgiving, open, bold? Are you a sassy dresser? Just see yourself and just really hold on to that and feel into it. Notice their habits. What are your new routines? And start to feel into that. Really feel into it. So you're just bringing in this new dimension, embodying your new characteristics, getting your nervous system to feel safe with the next level identity of you. And the magic in this is you start to change, and you actually start to access what you've been wanting all along, because you stop thinking about it and you start actually being it. And it's so wonderful. So you've got new standards, you're setting new boundaries, and you're being okay with letting go of the old way of doing things again and again and again. And you just keep reminding yourself, oh, that's an old echo. That's not who I am now. This is who I am now. These are the type of actions I take. This is my embodiment. And at the end of each day, we can all do the inner work. We can all do the healing. We can go through all of the different techniques and modalities and meditation. But you have to actually play out the new character in an old reality. And that's the kicker. You are playing out the new character of who you're becoming energetically. You're embodying her now. So you basically have to train and teach reality that you're not the same person you were before. And you actually do that first of all with your energy, and then everything else changes. Going back to Joe Dispenza, you're breaking the habit of being you, and your personality will come up against you. but you just get that visualization. And I want you to just imagine it's all happened now. You're feeling the joy in your heart. You're feeling the freedom, the alignment to abundance, to wealth, to health, to beautiful connected relationships, to opportunities, to the things that you desire in life. And you're ready to receive, and you're just turning on the receivership into your life. And wow, it's beautiful. Just allow it all to come in. Just allow yourself to receive. It's okay to receive. It's safe to receive. And you're just reprogramming your identity as you do this. You're showing yourself that you've changed. And in this process, when you act in alignment with your highest version of yourself, with the new version of you, and you do things even though you're not ready, and you jump before you're not ready, the thing is, you become ready. You know, there's a lovely example out there where one of my friends was teaching a few weeks ago, and she brought up into the class, you don't get to learn to swim by practicing the actions on the sidelines. You have to get into the water. You have to become wet. And I think that this is it. You have to become your new version now, and breathe that joy in, and get your nervous system familiar, get your heart ready to receive. So just opening the heart again and just receiving. So lovely. Breathing in that light, and you can just collapse time in the heart and become open to that field of infinite possibility, where the universe is working in your favor. And what if it all goes right? And what if it's all wonderful? And what if you embody the joy here and now? So it's all happened. You're on a timeline where it's all happened. You have stepped into this version of yourself. What you're wearing, what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're feeling, and just the peace and openness and aliveness and joy of stepping into your power. Just feel into that now. Breathe into that and let yourself completely be with this sense of achievement, this sense of connectedness, of flow, alignment, and love. Okay, and when you're ready, just gently bring your heart and your mind back into the awareness of your breathing, your heart beating, your feet firmly on the ground. And it's so lovely just to have had you spend this time with me. Thank you so much. Sending so much love from my heart to yours. Until the next time, take care of you. Just before you go, if you have ever felt that quiet nudge to become a coach or to grow the coaching or wellness business you already have, you know, there's that sense that you're here for more impact, more meaning, more depth in your work. If you're ready to share this kind of deep, soul-led, transformational work with others, I would love to support you. Inside my trainings, we bring soul and science together. And we've got the soul alignment method, teacher training coming up soon in the beautiful Glastonbury, which is such a lovely space. On the 5th to the 7th, we'll have the in-person days. But we have so many different neuroscience, meditation, mindfulness, coaching, transformational programs you can explore on the website. You know, you'll always learn how to guide powerful, lasting transformation, not just at the surface level, but at the level where identity, the subconscious mind, and the nervous system all come together. And you'll be supported to embody this work yourself. While you receive beautiful done for you programs you can begin using with your clients right away. They're all grounded, they're all accredited. It's where spirituality, psychology meets quantum principles and where your work becomes something truly, yeah, it's just really great fun actually, and it's such a privilege to work in this way. So if you fancy training with us, we've got this gorgeous, powerful energy of Glastonbury here in the UK, wonderful sacred space from the 5th to the 7th of June, where we'll start the journey and then it continues online. You're supported every step of the way, so it would be great if you felt like, you know, that pull. Yeah, this is for me. Why not hop over to paulapluck.com where you'll find all the details. And I would just love to walk with you and share in this beautiful transformational path if it's calling to you. So sending lots of love and thanks. See you soon.